Now, I've never removed the bushing this way before, so I'm going to show you. This is right in front of my kitchen table, and what I'm going to do is, you've already seen how I did that before, so I'm just going to whack this bushing a few times. This is just a chisel and a hammer. I mean, not a chisel, a punch and a hammer, okay? Couple more. Okay. Now I'm going to whack it over here without hitting my hand, hopefully. Okay, I'm almost out now. It's almost all collapsed. I have to move it a little bit. I'm going to collapse it to the side. A lot of people cut these with a hacksaw. But once you get it to this point, you really don't need to do that. Because you can just whack it right out at this point. Now I should be able to turn this over and whack it from the other side and knock it out. But let me just go a little more on this and see if I can pull it to the point. Because its outer ring is not really that strong. And you can see this whole thing is collapsing. So even at this point, if you want to use a chisel, you can go straight down the side here and cut it out with a chisel. And right now I'm using a ball peen hammer, so. Alright, I'm going to turn this over now. Let me release this. Okay. Lost a pin somewhere for this, to hold this rubber. I have to look around and see if I have it somewhere. It probably fell down. But, okay. Now I'm going to drop this back down, pump this up, lock it again. Okay. Now I'm going to hit the other side where I was hitting it. Okay, let's see where we are. We're all crushed over here and here. So I think I'm going to hit it right in here. See if I can whack this in a little bit. Like I said, the other alternative to this is to cut it with a hacksaw. But now you see it's moving. You can see it's moving down. So now it's just a matter of tap it a few times. Now after I get done with the control arms and paint them and everything, then I'm going to go ahead and show you how to put the bushings back in using the same press. There we are. Everything's out, both sides. Let's unlock it and give it a little push. That's it. Bushing's out. Bushing is out. Now, another thing is that you have to line everything up later when you go to put it back together. There's an arrow on the new bushing. It has to point towards this little dot right here. So the arrow points this way. Now, I know if you should put new ball joints in, okay? But people say, oh, well, how will I know which ball joint? All right? It's very simple. The ball joints are simple. When you put them in, there's a left and a right. Make sure you make sure you put the right ball joint in on the right axle. But this is the back of the axle, and this is the front. So if you put a ball joint in, the right ball joint, it's going to face up. If you put a left one in, it's going to be this way, facing up. So once you put the ball joints in, you're not going to make a mistake, because if you try to put it in this way, it's going to be upside down or backwards. So it's no big deal. But clean them up, run a Dremel or something over, clean them up, spray them with a little Rust-Oleum black or whatever color you want. You want to do them red, green, it's up to you. But that's all there is to that. That's very simple. Like I said, it's a real cheap tool. Look at the other people doing it on eBay. I mean, on the TDI Club or Vortex, and you can see all these different things. That took just a few minutes. It didn't kill me. Everything was pretty easy. So I had the first one I did was a little bit harder, but I got them out, so it's no big deal. And I have three arms, 3 spares that I have. I'm going to rebuild them. The cost to rebuild them, I buy my bushings from German Auto Parts in New York. They usually ship them. They're here within a day. And you see the bushing? Come out like no problem. Other one will go back in the same way. This bushing is $4.25. The other bushing, the big bushing, which is all in pieces now, is $8.75. So $8.75 and $4.25 makes it 9 and 4 is $13 total. A new arm will cost you $54.30 to be exact, plus shipping. All right. So you want to do them yourself, and if you want to put the R32s in there, the TT bushings, which are solid, they don't have those cuts in them, the air gaps. You can put them in. You can put anything you want in. I would stay away from the phenolic bushings. I heard a lot of people have problems with squeaks and stuff in them, and they are 2 pieces, so they may have a tendency to move around. And because you push the center piece into it, this piece here you push in, it might have a tendency to move around. I mean, it's not going to come out of the car, of course, because it's bolted in, it's inside of a bracket. It's not going to come out. But I would stay with the OEM or upgrade to the 32s if you want a little more control. But as you get harder bushings, you're definitely going to have a problem with more road noise and everything, and more you know, just vibration from the road coming to your car. If you want to leave it at factory, where the way it was when it was new, then I would suggest using the original parts. And try to stay with Lempner. And Mealy I don't think is a good, especially if you're doing the rear axles. I would use those, the beam bushings, which I'm going to do at another time. I'll show you how to do them. I was able to change the axle beam bushings on both sides in about an hour and a half, excluding the time to remove the axle, which is the only way to do it. Pull the axle down. Don't try to take the shortcut. It's very simple to do. It's only a couple extra bolts, and you got a lot of room to work rather than laying on your back. Okay, thank you. I hope you learned something.